What's going on, you guys? TBR here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another King of Fighters All-Star video. In today's video, we are going to be reacting to and breaking down the latest manager Q&A from Manager Kiki that was posted on the official forums yesterday. Admittedly, there isn't as much information given to us in this video as prior ones, but there's definitely some important stuff that we need to touch on, so that's what we're going to be doing today. But before we get into all of that more, make sure if you guys haven't already done so and you enjoy daily King of Fighters All-Star content such as this, that you smash that like button and subscribe. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. Cue the intro. Alright, you guys, so like I said in the introduction, we are going to be reacting to and breaking this video down, so if you would like to watch it in its entirety uninterrupted, link will be in the description. I'm not probably going to go through this entire thing because, to be honest with you guys, the main talking points for this video are going to be at the beginning when he goes over some of the concerns of the community. Otherwise, this video is primarily going to be about some kind of just Q&A stuff about the PC beta, so we may go through some of that stuff, but I might be stopping it less during that because that isn't anything that I really want to get into in this video. I've already made a video on the PC beta, kind of going over some of the common issues with that at the beginning when downloading it, so I'm not going to get into all of that today. However, that's definitely good information to have for those of you who are still having issues getting it working. But with that being said, we'll go ahead and jump into this, and let's go ahead and start this up. Now, I believe this is episode 12 of the Manager Kiki Q&A series, if I remember correctly, and as you guys can see, I wouldn't have opted for the turtleneck, but it does appear as if Manager Kiki is a man of culture, as he's got the sweater there, so yeah, good choice there, Manager Kiki. I like it. Like I said, I wouldn't have opted for the turtleneck, but I digress. So, jokes aside here, guys, here at the beginning, he is going to be talking about a few things that we do need to discuss, which I found were pretty interesting topics. So, he's going to start off here talking about how one of the big things that he has been asked about over the course of the past few weeks is, of course, information on the future of the game as far as releases and so on. This is something we've talked about quite a bit here on the channel. We've talked about how we would like to see some sort of roadmap or whatever the case may be, and I understand that there are specific reasons why companies don't like roadmaps. However, he does mention in here that they are working on a developer diary or a developer note that they're wanting to post over on the official forums at some point here, which he's going to mention, so that is something we can look forward to. Generally speaking, that's as close as we get to a roadmap, but those are usually going to have quite a bit of information in them depending on which one we're talking, so we'll let him continue here, but we'll talk more about this. So apparently the business team had been in development of a dev note, but apparently it did get delayed. So this is something that he mentions here. So I want to go ahead and make sure that I kind of mention this right now. We are only a couple of days or maybe a day removed at this point from the last banner. So I wouldn't worry too much about what's coming next right now, because if you guys know anything about Netmarble at this point, it's that we're probably going to have some sort of banner within the next week to 10 days, more than likely a week. So if you guys saw my Saturday chat and chill, you already pretty much know what I'm assuming we're probably going to be seeing over the course of the next several weeks to a month and a half. And it seems like so far this week, it is pointing towards that being the case. I had mentioned in that video that sometime towards the end of the week, we might see some sort of developer Q&A or some sort of dev note or something telling us something about what the next update's going to be. And lo and behold, yesterday we got this. So it is looking like we're probably not going to have anything updated this week, like I had already mentioned, and then next week we'll get information and probably get an update. Maybe a week from now we'll have some sort of update notes or something like that, but keep that in mind. That is just something to kind of make sure that you take note of, because I know a lot of people out there get antsy whenever we don't have a banner, but take these opportunities to save because they're typically very brief and you want to make sure that you make the most of them. So that's just something I wanted to make sure I pointed out there. But you know, he mentions that he feels like he would rather do some sort of note on the forum, like a dev Q&A note or some sort of, you know, developer's note in general, instead of just putting this stuff in video form. He feels like it'd be kind of feeling more like it's trivialized in a video. I don't agree with that. I think that honestly, we would rather see a video because it feels like it is more high quality. It feels like they put more effort into it. I don't necessarily like it as much whenever they just post like a block of text, which is usually just going to be Google translated. I'm not as big a fan of that. So to be honest, I disagree with him on this. I feel like if he wants to go ahead and start giving us more information in these dev Q&As as opposed to just giving us a dev note on the forum, that would be my preference. I don't know how you guys feel about it out there, but typically whenever we get that sort of thing in a video, there's plenty for us to look at, plenty for us to dissect, and I just feel like it's kind of the opposite of what he's saying. I feel like it's more trivialized when it's just a post on the forum, to be honest, but that could just be me. You know, you guys can let me know in the comments section, but that's how I feel. So this here, this is interesting. So speaking to the point I just made, apparently people are badgering him about what the next banner is, dropping a new trailer, whatever the case may be. And this is where I'm going to get on a little bit of a rant, but not a big one. So I find it interesting. We have a interesting, and I realize that you can't make everybody happy and everybody's different, right? And there's a lot of people that play this game, but there is two distinct, very distinct camps of people in this game. There are either the people that say, oh my god, there's too many banners in this game, they need to slow down, we don't have time to save, so on and so forth. And then you have the people like this that are just going to badger the devs until they give them something of information pertaining to another banner because they can't wait a few days. And I don't really understand this mindset. This is one of those things that really is kind of frustrating in a way, because to be honest, one, Manager Kiki does not have control over this stuff. He mentions that in there. When it comes to releasing information or announcing these things, that's the business end and the marketing end. That is not his end. So that is not something that he can make happen. His job is to be the one under the hood, making sure everything's working and running smoothly. So that's his job. When it comes to this sort of stuff, his job is to put it together as far as making the actual characters and things of that nature with the team, because that's part of his job, is to work with the team and make sure they're doing those things. Otherwise, he doesn't have any control over the marketing and the advertising, so that's one thing. But it's just really interesting to me that people are so impatient with new characters, because you have two very distinct camps, like I said, and yeah, it's really interesting to me. I'm definitely in the camp that is patient. I'm fine with waiting, but this is ridiculous to me. I don't know. I just don't get this, especially when these kinds of comments are coming in when we've still had at that point SS Terry and SS Mary. It's like, really? Just be patient. Whatever. That's just my mini rant of the day. But yeah, he mentions there the business team is the ones that kind of make sure that all that stuff happens, like I said. So again, that is not something that he is responsible for. So, you know, don't feel like going after him is going to cause him to be able to do anything extra for you guys out there. But he does mention that they're going to plan on sharing information that will be revealed soon. So we will have a trailer soon. Whatever it ends up being, whether it ends up being BS Psyche and BS Mukai or whatever the case may be, time will tell. We definitely all expect a BS banner at this point. Again, if you didn't see my Saturday Chat and Chill, link is in the description. But in general, hopefully whatever it is something that makes everybody happy, but you know how that goes. Again, you can't make everybody happy. Got Orochi there, triggering all the BS Orochi fans out there. I know it wasn't the BS version, but still, you know what I mean. So this is where we start to get into the PC stuff. I really don't think that we need to talk much about this stuff. I feel like we could more so just kind of skip towards the end of this. Again, if you guys want to watch this in its entirety, the link will be in the description. Otherwise, what I can do is I can just spend more time talking about what he's already talked about until we kind of get there. But either way, I'll kind of let him just talk, because he's just going to go through some just general questions on this thing. So when it comes to what he's talked about here, we know now that we are going to be getting some sort of dev note very soon. We were due a dev note and it got delayed, so we are going to be seeing one in the very near future, probably by the end of the week from the sounds of it. We are going to be getting a new trailer for a new banner very soon. That is something that is on the horizon. In fact, there is actually a post over on iRunMan's YouTube channel. If you guys haven't seen that, I can go ahead and post it up on screen right here. But he is basically saying that we are going to be getting a new Ruby login. I don't see anything on any of the forums, and I have checked the Korean, the JP, and the English side of things, and I haven't seen anything. So unless it's just hiding from me, I don't see anything. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that it isn't going to happen, and iRunman is a reliable source, so I would say that he probably has some good information there. So I think that we are going to definitely, like I had mentioned at the beginning, be seeing a new banner within the next week. That is something I think is pretty much a lock at this point. So again, I don't think we're going to be waiting for very long to get information on whatever this new banner is going to be. It seems like that is something that we're probably going to be getting much sooner rather than later. But it's really cool though, watching this, just real quick, watching this as he's playing on not just a joystick but on a giant screen. If you guys haven't been playing the PC port, I've been playing it on my monitor, and while my monitor isn't the most, you know, enormous thing in the world, I'm still really kind of blown away by how much prettier this game looks whenever it's on a big screen and it's fully unloaded and you have everything at high resolution. It looks great. But this is where we start to get into this stuff, so let's talk about this. So basically he talks more about how all of that stuff is handled by the advertising and the marketing team, but then he talks about how he and Mr. Karate ended up getting to go in and do a photo shoot for the new PC beta, which I thought was kind of funny. Now, we've seen parts of this, but, you know, kind of speaking from experience as someone who's had to do things somewhat similar to this is always super awkward. Like, this never feels natural. Like, this is probably the 100th time he's done this, and this is probably just a half-hearted attempt. It's hilarious whenever I see that kind of stuff because I just cringe internally for people whenever they have to do those things. I mean, I get it, you have to do what you got to do, but, you know, I don't know what that is, but must be some sort of inside joke. But that's pretty much going to be it, you guys. Like I said, there isn't as much information in this one as some of these other ones that we've seen prior, but at the same time, there is some important information in there. One thing that I would mention here at the end of this video is let's just be patient with these new updates. Like I said, there has to be a healthy medium when it comes to this stuff. You have to kind of be willing to wait just a little bit. These things don't just happen. So whenever we have banners kind of running kind of consecutively behind each other and right into each other, that tends to be nothing but an issue for the community. So whenever we have these miniature lulls or these small kind of down periods, let's try to embrace those and be happy with those, because those allow us to save and to kind of take a breather from some of this stuff. So I would say that, you know, a week in between banners is definitely the minimum that I would want. You know, I would honestly prefer it to be longer, but a week in between banners is just fine. You know, we're gonna make it, you guys, trust me. We'll all make it through this together. I know it's gonna be tough, but trust me, there'll be plenty more information I'm sure they're going to drop in the meantime. It's just that we aren't going to have content probably for a few days. So we'll all make it through it. Like I said, just be patient. But that is today's video. Make sure if you enjoyed it, you smash that like button and subscribe. Let me know what you thought of all this information today in this video, and I will talk to you in the next one. You all take care. Peace.
Game over.